A very good evening to everybody watching. Thank you for joining us tonight on the agenda. My name is Toiwan Jabela. Tonight on the platform, we are joined by Paulus Noa. He is the outgoing Director General of the Anti-Corruption Commission, which he has led for a very, very long time, and we are here to walk that journey with him, just playing back the tape so that we really see how those years were. It's a pleasure, Mr. Noah, to have you here. It's not your first time, but welcome back to the platform.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah. 20 years ago, the nation, the Namibian nation, bestowed upon you a responsibility to lead the ACC. In fact, you were going to lead something that didn't exist at the time. It didn't exist, it's just that an institution must come up, it must fight corruption, and you had to build that from absolutely nothing. If you can walk us through the times around that, the difficulties of starting that institution, and in what shape you are living it today.
No, thank you very much, Mr. Jabela, for inviting me here. Yes, you are very right. At the time when I took up this responsibility as head of the Anti-Corruption Commission in 2006,
Yeah.
there was virtually nothing, and certainly it was not a walk in the park.
Yeah.
Because I remember that I was just informed that I must find my way out and see how I can put up a structure and submit it to the Public Service Commission for the Public Service Commission to approve the structure. And I must also see where I will be operating from, because there was not even an office, no furniture, nothing at all. It was only myself and my deputy. We had to go and get a small space where we were sharing in the Francis Ndongo building. Meanwhile, we were then trying to put the ideas together as to the type of the structure that we needed to have in place. And you can even imagine that we came at a time when the country was experiencing periodic incidents of alleged corruption, mismanagement, and maladministration. You might recall allegations about the GIPF, and the fuel oil. There was this other fuel oil, not this fuel storage.
Yeah, I remember that one. Yeah.
Yes, and the Social Security Commission cases.
Yeah.
And these are cases that actually took place even before the Anti-Corruption Act was passed by Parliament, let alone when it entered into operation.
Yeah.
But the nation felt that no, despite that, you have now been appointed, you have a responsibility to
go back
into that and investigate. But then the law has no provision on retrospective investigation of allegations of corruption.
Yeah.
I tried to explain to the public, but the public could not take any of such explanation. Yeah. And then they were bombarding us with a lot of allegations of corrupt practices. Some of these allegations were more of personal nature, not really real corrupt practices as defined in the law.
Yeah.
But then they felt that no, you just have to do it. So we started then, after we put up a structure, we submitted it to the Public Service Commission. Public Service Commission did not delay approving that small structure that we put up. But then in the meantime, before we could start with the recruitment process, because recruitment has to be done in accordance with the Public Service Act. You can see how bureaucratic it is, public service, to recruit. It takes too much long, even half a year, just in the process of, because you are advertised, shortlisting, and then from there, you invite candidates, those who qualified for interview, and then later on there's this process of vetting the ideal candidate and so on. By the time you complete the process, it's almost half a year already. So I approached the Inspector General, Sebastian De Tunga, to provide at least 3 investigating officers to my office
To second them.
assist, say to second them. They were seconded, and they were really helpful at that time, because I had to, to assure the public that yes, the commission has started operating, and as a result, we are just not just there sitting. That time it really helped until we get into capital projects, which resulted into the constructions of a set of art building where the staff of ACC here in Window are housed today. Yeah, but it was not an easy process.
I can imagine.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, if you were walking into something that is already functional, that would have been a much different process. But to start it from scratch, now you are busy building the capacity of the institution, but corruption at the same time is happening, and you must also fight it on the other side. I can imagine. To what do you attribute your longevity? Because you could have served 5 years, you could have served 10 years. It came to 20 this year. So is it a question of a man so good at his work, the system couldn't let him go? Or was it a man that maybe some people in the system felt, no, if Noah is there, we can do our things because he's our guy?
Yeah, no, the thing is that I remember that at some point I even approached the authority to say, perhaps it's time for me to leave so that there's someone else I can take over. And the authority said, no, look, you understand this work, and you have been doing the work. If there was a point whereby you have reported to me that it was a president saying, especially late President Hagen Hegop saying, if there was a time you have reported to me that my own cabinet members are interfering with the work of the Anti-Corruption Commission, then I would understand the reason why you feel maybe not comfortable to work. But since there have not been any interference, and it's true, I have not experienced political interference in the work that I was doing. And the other thing again is that I was not really bothered by public criticism, because I know public criticism comes from different angles. One comes from the angle of lack of understanding of how the law operates. The other one comes from the angle of those who are subject of investigation wanted now to also demonize the Anti-Corruption Commission, either themselves being investigated, or their relatives, or last one, or friends with whom they want to get into this potentially corrupt deals. Even today we experience this. When you see some people talking a lot against ACC, when you go back and analyze, you find that this one is either we have a docket that we have submitted to the Prosecutor General, or we have a docket where he is alleged to be, a part of those people whom we are investigating. So this kind of criticism does not bother us so much when they are making a lot of noise, because we know some of these people, they are actually subject of ACC investigation. And the constructive criticism, we accept it as well. I had no problem with all this. That's why what I did myself is just to develop a thick skin, and take on what people are saying. For us was just to respond to when there are some concern, we respond to those concerns and explain. Because for every case that you investigate, you are directed by the law. And you have to work within the confine of the law. That the reason why I'm saying that some come from lack of understanding of the law is because you know, some public members, even though some later on, as we start with awareness, got to understand, did not know that the Anti-Corruption Commission does not have inherent power to deal with anything under the sun. We are guided by the law. And the offenses that can be investigated by Anti-Corruption Commission are strictly listed in the law. Any other immoral conduct or any other offense which is not part of what is listed in the law can be investigated by other authorities, like, for example, the Namibian Police Force or any other authority that are given power by the law to investigate, but not by the ACC. Yes, this is what we start letting them understand. Some didn't understand, but as I said, that when they are being investigated, they always wanted the ACC to be seen in a bad light. Unfortunately, that is the case.
Yeah, which is also one of the things. For example, there are some pockets of perceptions that no, ACC is maybe it's a political tool. I remember when was it in 2025 when the people in the oil scandal, NAMCOR, were arrested. Of course, a new government had just come into office, and people tried to align these events to say there must have been it's some sort of political vengeance. It's a new government getting at people that they don't like. If you can just clarify again the context of some of these things to say that it's not related if it's not.
Yeah, nothing related to a new administration whatsoever. Nothing at all. You know, the NAMCO case you mentioned about is a case that we always wanted to get into, but evidence has not been trickling in until at some point we got a statement from one of the board members, you know, which gave us a foundation. Because for every investigation that you do, unless if you have initiated as a ACC, but again, you must have ground for that. Because if you don't have a ground for the decision to initiate an investigation, then you'll have a problem when you take somebody to court. Because several times I've been called to court to justify. What were the justification in terms of the jurisdictional, factual, and legal basis for you to decide that this one must be investigated? You don't just decide out of a blue that no, perhaps we'll get something out of this, let's proceed and investigate. It doesn't work like that. The law is very clear. There must be reasonable grounds that justify a decision that someone must be investigated. In the absence of that, you cannot do that. Therefore, NAMCO was not related to any politics. Remember that with NAMCO, there was a time when there were allegations of money that was possibly stolen and not transferred to Angola, where there was an allegation of this joint venture between NAMCO and the sister company in Angola. And I investigated that to establish whether this money was misappropriated or not. And I established that yes, there was no embezzlement of this money. It was not misappropriated. In fact, it was transferred. The managing director had his own explanation why he did it without the blessing of the board. Okay, but in my conclusion that you know very well, I even indicated that no, look, having concluded that there are no criminal elements to take this matter to the prosecution authority does not necessarily mean that the board cannot take actions against the managing director, which they did. Administratively, which they did, yes. Because he had no authority to do that. But there was no criminal intention.
Yeah.
He had justification for why it was done, because the time that were given was coming close to an end,
Yeah.
and then there were penalty that the NAMCO would have suffered if they could not. All the documents were provided to us. That's the thing. It has no link to the new administration at all.
Yeah.
Even the criminal investigation that we ultimately did had no any link to the. In fact, I have, when it comes to politics, I have enjoyed being at the helm of the Anti-Corruption Commission, because there was no single time when a politician approached the Anti-Corruption Commission to threaten us not to do particular investigation. Not even a single moment. Starting with the administration of President Pohamba, because remember, it is President Pohamba who appointed us.
Yes.
And then the subsequent administration up to the current administration. There was no time when we have been intimidated or even just advised that, no, this you should not do. That's why, you know, there are former ministers who are sitting in jail up to now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yes.
In fact, that is the one also that I think in your 20 years, that might be probably the biggest. I don't know which one is the biggest, and we are going to talk about that later. But the fact that, I mean, the courage to come after sitting ministers because you found some sort of evidence that suggests that they had their hands in certain deals. That must have been. How did you approach that again? Because that was not an ordinary case.
It takes you to be very bold and focus on the mandate that is given to you by the law, because being at the Anti-Corruption Commission, you are not serving a master, you are serving the nation, and you are directed by the law and nothing else. The moment there is evidence, irrespective of the status or the title of the suspect, actions ought to be taken. And this is actually what we did. Where there is no evidence, irrespective of the title or the status of the person, Anti-Corruption Commission cannot take action against any person. That's why you might know of some of the people, the public feels, no, this should have been arrested, this one ACC should have taken action, but we have not taken action because, look, we don't take action simply to please the public. We take action because the evidence that we have gathered substantiate the allegations that was reported by the Anti-Corruption Commission. In the absence of that, because if you just pound yourself on a person when you know so well that there's nothing justifying that, remember that this is a person who has got rights and dignity, which are also protected by the laws of this country, particularly the Constitution, which is the supreme law of the country. That it means that you are actually putting the government into a fix as well. Because the government may be sued just because of your negligence. You are there to properly analyze and understand the laws before you move further.
Yeah. When you were asked by President Gengob the other time to look into some things some years ago, does that constitute, what does it constitute? Surely it was not interference with, you wouldn't look at it as interference, the president telling ACC to investigate his ministers. In what category does an instruction like that or request like that fall?
Yeah, no, that is not interference. That is exactly the same as Mr. Toivo receiving certain allegations, and you decide, no, I channel these allegations to the Anti-Corruption Commission. That's why I think it's just a misconception from the media. Late President Hage did not say investigate. No. He said, I have received these allegations against my ministers. I am forwarding this to you for your consideration to see whether there is any merits for corruption investigation or not. That is what the letter says.
Okay.
It was not a directive that investigates. It was not like that. Yeah.
Do you think that, I would imagine that building this institution from the ground up must have been probably people, of course, would say, no, we want people to be arrested and all, because that is what the public want to see, optics. But we tend to forget the institutional importance of ACC. So apart from building that institution, what are your other proud moments to say, look, whether it's in terms of some of the successes of the institution to carry out its mandate, or whatever, maybe what else comes to mind?
Yeah, okay. If you have followed some of the comments by the current president, he rightfully so says that, look, for us to effectively confront corruption in this country, there's a need for mindset change.
Yeah.
Meaning that it's not only about investigating and arrest somebody and throw somebody in police custody. If efforts are not being made to change the mindset of the Namibian people, the arrest alone will not be effective in reducing corruption or eliminating corruption in the country. And that is the reason why what we did at the very outset when we were setting up the structure of the Anti-Corruption Commission, we made sure that we have a directorate that focuses on investigation. Then we have a directorate that focuses on public education and corruption prevention. With public education is to raise awareness and also to foster public support, because the public need to support the efforts of the Anti-Corruption Commission. You don't need it to behave like you are an enemy to the public. Everybody sees you walking there. You are like a wild animal and they must fear you.
Yeah.
No, you foster support of the public so that you will be able to let the people understand the corrosive effects that can be caused by corruption. You should be able to engage even small children, learners, like as we have developed this study guide which is being used by the life skills teachers to teach the learners about this anti-corruption themes. And then with prevention, the team embark on this corruption risk assessment, analyzing and evaluating and assessing the systems being used by different public institutions to see whether this system are prone for corruption, to identify the loophole. They don't do it alone. They do it as an engagement with the staff of that particular institution, and then it is the staff that have to identify the loopholes, because these are the people who have experienced the maladministration, corruption, because corruption comes in different ways and means. Yes. And they are the one who identify all this, and also together they propose what needs to be done. If it's a law that needs to be amended, they indicate that as well. If it's a policy that is lacking in some of the things. I remember when we were investigating a certain official in one of the institutions on this allegation of conflict of interest, and the person said, since I came to this institution, I have never heard of something like a conflict of interest, because our policy is completely silent about the conflict of interest. When you look at the policy, it's true, there is virtually nothing. And this person thought he was doing something that is allowed by the system. Yeah. And then they had to amend their policies so that they can prohibit this conflict of interest. Declare interest always when they are involved in this recruitment and so on.
Yeah.
And many other examples that I can cite.
Absolutely.
So these are actually the type of structures that we put in place. Currently now, when it comes to Director of Investigation, we have even added a division that deals with money laundering.
Yeah.
Remember, money laundering in the past could not be investigated by Anti-Corruption Commission until end of 2023, when the POCA, this is the Prevention of Organized Crime Act, was amended to give power, similar power to the Director General of Anti-Corruption Commission as same power with the Inspector General to investigate money laundering. And this is the reason when I was being crucified of not doing anything about this small SME bank.
Yeah.
When the SME bank was looted, the law did not give power to ACC to investigate direct or stand-alone money laundering cases. And that's the reason why we did not get into that.
Yeah.
I have tried on several occasions to explain this, but the public felt that, no, this is corruption. Yes, it's true, it's corruption, because corruption is a predicate offense of money laundering, but it's corruption being committed under money laundering crime. And this is the reason that it has been, up to now, investigated by the Namibian Police Force. Yeah. But after the amendment, we now have that power, and we move also quickly to set up a division responsible for money laundering investigation, and we did the recruitment. We also set up a division dealing with intelligence, and recruited officials to under that division. And we also set up a division that deal with forensic analysis, because you need that. The only challenge is that, the staff of the ACC is still very, very lean. It's very, very small. It needs to be beefed up so that people can really work effectively. And the other thing again, I've made a lot of efforts, even with the counterparts outside the Namibia, to train our officials. Unfortunately, as soon as these officials have been trained, they are being poached by other institutions who also need a type of well-trained, type of well-disciplined officials. Though wherever they have gone, just because of green pasture, they are not doing the type of work that they were doing at the Anti-Corruption Commission. They're just giving this high position as managers, middle managers, sitting in the offices, and here we have spent the resources on them to be trained. But because what they are getting at ACC, comparing to what they are earning that side, is very little. They have to leave the institution, unfortunately, and that is really a concern to me. There's a need to review the law and also benefits of the ACC. It's an important institution, a leading institution to fight corruption and contribute to the growth of the economy of this country. But then, if it's not being taken seriously in terms of how the officials are earning and their condition of services, unfortunately, they will always leave.
No, you are raising a good point, because I remember, was it last year when Namibian Sun published a story about the number of investigators that have left ACC for other agencies. And I know, for example, also that in the case, in the Fisherot case, there was actually a very brave investigator who was being bribed, according to what appeared in court later. And he was brave and decent enough to say no. Because if you are not taken care of properly by the employer, the temptation to take some of these money offers could also, overcome you. So
Exactly.
you're making a good point. What do you think that, Mr. Noah? Of course, there's no way that you could argue. You can look me in the face and say that over those 20 years, it has been a perfect ride. There ought to have been some mistakes that you say, but if I had the benefit of clocking back the time, certain things I would have done them differently. What are some of those things that you say, this I could have done better?
Oh yes, like you know, uh, better ideas comes always towards the end.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah, because not long ago we have started the process of reviewing the law, and we've also started with the process of reviewing the structure of the commission.
Yeah.
And all this process are continuing now. The unfortunate part is that we were not able to complete them while I am still here. Because, look, what needs to be done, even with my successor coming on board now, one critical thing is to review the Anti-Corruption Act to broaden up the powers of the Anti-Corruption Commission, to focus on many things that currently are not addressed in the law. I can just cite a few examples like, look, illicit enrichment. It has not been criminalized in that law. And there is a need, because illicit enrichment is just like you are saying lifestyle audit. But here you have to put it in such a way that you do not conflict with the constitutions and other laws as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Other countries have done that. The other example also I give you why there's a need for this one. We have numerous dockets that we have investigated, because when allegations were received by Anti-Corruption Commission, we were convinced that there are elements of corruption.
Yeah.
It takes you months or even years, investigating these cases until you have piles and piles of files. Towards the end, after you have gathered everything, you realize that, no, look, all the elements that are here are elements of administrative nature, meaning that these are elements of mismanagement or misconduct that must go to the relevant authority, for the relevant authority to start with internal administrative proceedings. And my officials who investigated stand ready to even be called as witnesses of what happened. Many of these dockets that we have submitted with recommendations, they have been ignored. And we were not able to do anything because in the law, there is no provision which gives power to the Anti-Corruption Commission to follow up and even charge the administrators, the accounting officer or their supervisors, for their failure to act on the directives from the Anti-Corruption Commission. I strongly feel that there is such a provision, there is a need for such a provision, where, because look, if you know a person has committed such a serious misconduct, which must, in many of these cases, has resulted in loss of thousands and thousands of taxpayers' money. And then somebody is not taking internal disciplinary measures, and they is not reporting back to you to say, no, look, these are the reason why we did not take internal disciplinary measures. Then you can say this person is just making himself an accomplice to what the other person has done. There is a need for criminalization of failure, to act on the recommendations or directives.
I agree.
I have seen other countries have done that, and the whole system has become very, very effective. Because it's not only about the person who misconduct herself, but it's also about the person
Who's
who is the
protecting-
supervisor of this person.
Yeah. Do you think that how does the law work right now? And do you think there's a room, for example? Because I always hear that the one thing that I've never understood is this idea that, and I hope I'm interpreting it wrongly, that someone must walk into ACC offices, submit a file before ACC can act. In other words, in theory, it could be that if you read an explosive expose in Namibian Sun about corruption, blatant corruption, but apart from reading it in the paper and being convinced that indeed something went wrong there, as long as nobody comes and knock at your door to report formally, you do not act on that. Is that, do I understand it correctly?
No, I don't think you understand it correctly, because it is not in all instances where someone needs to walk into the office of the Anti-Corruption Commission. There are quite a number of cases that ACC has taken up after we have read certain article, and we were convinced that we could now take this as an initiative by the Anti-Corruption Commission itself. You see, the law gives power to Anti-Corruption Commission to initiate as well. But when you initiate, you must be, as I said already, that you must be satisfied that there are justifiable grounds for this matter to be investigated. Either full-scale investigation or preliminary inquiry, as the law says. And we have done a lot of them. Maybe you will not know about that because, look, the laws provide that when you are the reporter or the whistleblower, as often said, who have reported that, there is an obligation from the commission to update you on what you have reported. Or an initiative from yourself. You can make an inquiry and you can be given information. But if it's something that we initiated after it was reported, either in the paper or elsewhere, then we cannot share, because you cannot share information of investigation to a third party whom you do not know who the person is. The whistleblower is entitled to be informed about the progress of the investigation, though not necessary to share the full contents of the docket, because remember this is a confidential information in the docket. But then you'll be able to say, no, look, we have looked into this. This is where we are now. The reason of doing that may also help you so that this person may be able to guide you on another information that can help you to build on the investigation that you are busy carrying out on that particular matter. It helps. But if it's just an article from the newspaper, definitely we don't report it to the author of that article. The other thing again, in the past, you know how sensitive you journalists are. Once you are approached by Anti-Corruption Commission, you think Anti-Corruption Commission is now,
terrorizing,
becoming overzealous, trying to terrorize you, and you of course, I appreciate you are guided by ethical principles on journalism. You don't necessarily need to disclose your source of information. And when your source is not known to ACC, it will also become difficult for ACC to prepare a proper statement that can guide ACC to do the investigation.
Because I'm just a third party in that case. I'm not the primary source.
You are just a third party there. And the information that we are going to ask you, you will not be able to provide that information. And the law says that when a case is, allegations are reported, a statement must be obtained and signed for by the whistleblower
Yeah.
or the complainant. That's what the law says.
Yeah.
It needs to be signed for, which is fine because look, remember that for the period I have been there, even those who wanted to use Anti-Corruption Commission to settle their personal scores against others have also approached ACC, making serious allegations against others just because there are certain personal issues. That one you only find out, they know how to flavor their allegations with elements of corruption.
Yeah.
And then you get convinced that, no, I think there's a merit for us to look into this.
Yeah.
As you are digging deeper into this, that's when you establish that, no, there is a beef between the two persons. Those kind of things has also been received by the Anti-Corruption Commission. But then once we find out that, no, there is nothing here because there's no evidence substantiating the allegations, we dismiss that and they close the file.
Yeah.
And we inform the person.
Yeah.
We inform the person. Every time we close the file, if we know who the whistleblower is, as I said, we have an obligation to update the whistleblower. Either whistleblower can call us to find out or come to the office. We have to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's the same as for us in journalism. People are fighting for positions in institutions or whatever. Then they come here painting one as the devil and them as the angel. And then as you investigate, you realize there's nothing more to it other than personal quarrels. The how it works with your work is such that after investigating, if you then find substantive evidence of wrongdoing, you submit the file to the Prosecutor General's office for them to decide whether to proceed with prosecution of that person or not. In some instances, files, there's no prosecution that had taken place as you had recommended or whatever. What does it come down to? Is it a question of ACC not having done its work properly? Or what could lead prosecutors into deciding now there's no need to go ahead with the prosecution here?
No, thank you for the question. Yes, you are right. There are instances where we have submitted a docket to the Office of the Prosecutor General, and the Prosecutor General has declined prosecution. What happened at times is this. As a ACC Director General, you want to guard against every docket. You make a conclusion that there is no elements for prosecution here. When we have investigated and we find that, no, look, there are two chances here, 50-50 chances. We have this evidence. This evidence may be sufficient for prosecution.
Yeah.
However, the other person may say that it's not sufficient for prosecution. In that instance, my approach has always been passing over this docket to the Prosecutor General for Prosecutor General's consideration, whether she feels the evidence is sufficient for prosecution or not. If it's not sufficient for prosecution, you may find the Prosecutor General sending it back with certain instruction to say, no, there is this area which still needed to be pursued by the Commission. Obtain a statement to clarify XYZ, which is being raised in the statement of Mr. or Mrs. So-so. Why Prosecutor General is saying that is because she also feels that if this information is clarified to a satisfaction, she may find reason to prosecute. Now what we do is that we go out in compliance with the instruction of the Prosecutor General. Sometimes you find that that information, as you gather it, it will be helpful to the Prosecutor General, but sometimes you will find that the information will not be helpful as a result. The Prosecutor General will still decide not to prosecute because she will know that taking this matter to court when evidence is shaky like this, it will just be a sheer waste of time. As a result, she will decline. Sometimes Prosecutor General may as well decline and say, no, look, this is one of those cases that needs to be dealt with internally. You see now, the point I raised to you previously. It's just something that the weight of evidence is more on administrative proceedings that may be taken by the relevant authority.
Yeah.
And the criminal elements will not be sufficient to prove beyond reasonable doubt that this person has a criminal intent to commit an offense. Remember, administratively, it will just be on the balance of probability, and then they can find this person guilty and deal with the person appropriately. But there, you have to prove everything beyond reasonable doubt. It's not corruption. It's not about just assumptions or suspicion. You must have evidence, just like as you are proving a case of murder, or you are proving a case of rape, or theft, or whatever, any other case. You have to prove. The court will not show sympathy to you because you are from the Anti-Corruption Commission and you are there to fight corruption. There's no sympathy. The court deals with principles of law, principles of evidence, Criminal Procedure Act, which must be complied with, even including the manner you have obtained. Remember, including the manner you have obtained that evidence. If you have obtained that evidence without being in compliance with the procedure and without even explaining the rights of that person, so that the person decide clearly whether he or she wants, especially if a person is a suspect, he or she wants to give you information or not, to provide a statement or not, because it's the right of the suspect to say, no, I'm not prepared to share anything with you. You don't push him around and say, no, you do it, you like it or not. No, you don't do that. You don't do that. But if you have not explained all the rights, and the person properly understand such rights and make a choice to give a statement, no matter how good the statement may be, when the matter goes to court, the matter may collapse in court. It will collapse.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I just want to take you back slightly to what you said earlier. You said that in the 20 years, and I find it a bit difficult to believe, but you know, maybe we can just ventilate it further, that you have never been pressured by the powers that be, powerful people, especially in politics, to say, comrade, can you not look the other way? Because if you were saying, look, there's been those attempts, but we stood by our principles and said, no, we will not budge to that request. But to say it has never happened, for 20 years, it's a long time. Not never happened.
A long time does not really matter if you have a government that stick to its principles. And I'm repeating again, for that period of 20 years I have been there, there was no moment when a politician approached me and advised or even direct me not to probe into a particular matter. You see, what I'm saying to you is what I have been saying to the public. And I have challenged the public, and I'm again challenging the public to come forward, you see, with at least a single evidence of a particular politician who might have come or approached me or threatened me not to look into a particular case. Remember, Mr. Toivo, the way things work at the Anti-Corruption Commission. Many of the cases, I'm saying many because there may be few others that come directly to me. Many of the cases are not reported directly to me. We have a case management system where all the cases, whether the case is irrelevant or relevant, is registered. And once it's registered on the system, you cannot erase that information from the system. All the documents that come with the allegations are loaded on the system. And once on the system, you cannot erase it from the system. We have a report sender in the office of the Anti-Corruption Commission, where there is always one of the investigators, the alternate of course, who will receive all the complaints or reports that are coming in for that particular day. Take them, load them on the system. When they are loaded on the system, before that matter is brought to my attention, it's pushed to the head of the Directorate of Investigation. For the head of the Directorate to read through and then make whatever recommendations she thinks after she read through that, what needs to be done. I may then, because once it's pushed to me, I will again read through that. I may agree with the recommendation in full. I may partly agree with the recommendation and say, no, look, for us to get substantive information, let us first carry out a preliminary. A preliminary is more or less a full investigation because you are still going out and obtain statements. I may be satisfied that no, here, everything satisfies what's required. We must go full-scale investigation. Cases do not come directly to me, meaning that even for example, there was a political somebody who intended to come and influence me. He cannot influence the system because once on the system, there's no way that you can remove it from the system. There's no way that you say, no, please, let us set this aside. It should not be investigated. The other thing again, remember that I told you that for every case that is reported by someone who is known, there is an obligation to give feedback on the progress of investigation as well. You know, I'm giving you this scenario that can serve as a check and balances for you to know that here there are no chances for someone to be influenced. When you know a case that has not been investigated, as I said, that if there is such a case, it's simply because reasons are put on the system and elements for investigation has not been justified. That's the only reason or time when I cannot decide to investigate somebody. There's no time that you say, no, I just cannot do this and I cannot furnish the result. Because look, I have even said, if someone does not trust that I have done a right thing, there are other authorities in Namibia. Remember that the Namibian police force can also investigate corruption. Yes, if you have reported something to ACC and you think, no, this director general is going to place it under the carpet, you can still report the same to the Namibian police. Some of them, when they reported, just to tell you, some of them when they reported to me in writing, down there they write If you think you are going to place it under the carpet, I've also reported it to the journalist. That's why you see some of the things when you call us.
Yeah.
Have you received
You're
something like
already
this?
in the know.
Yeah, they have shared with you.
Yeah,
There
absolutely.
are times when we say, no, we have not yet received that. Yet we have received because because we have not yet started with our investigation.
Yeah.
And we do not want to alert whatever person whom we want to approach to give us information.
Absolutely.
You may find that saying, no, we haven't received it. Maybe if you have a copy of it, bring it to us.
Yeah.
But sometimes we have that one already. We might have decided, no, we are investigating, but the process of approaching the potential witnesses has not kicked off.
Absolutely.
That's the time when you say, no. There are instances where we have also told you that, no, yes, we have received that one, and it's receiving our attention.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mr. Noa, thank you very much for making time. We really appreciate. I think as a person that I've been in this industry for so long, as a matter of fact, I started my journalism career exactly 20 years ago myself in 2006. But one of the things that I appreciated about you, despite all things that I may disagree here and there with ACC, one thing that I've always appreciated is your openness. That we as journalists have always had a direct line to you, even when you have a communications department. It's 4 o'clock, I can't go through Josephine to a matter that time. I need this story to be on the front page tomorrow. I tell my reporters, call Mr. Noa quickly. And you always treated us with decency, and we appreciate it. So we wish you all the best. I know you look very young. I know that this is just a closing of one door. Many more doors will open, but thank you, and we wish you all the best.
No, thank you very much, Mr. Njebela. And I also want to thank the media industry through you for the really efforts that you have made that contributed to the efforts made by the Anti-Corruption Commission. Remember, every effort, whether it was a criticism that you leveled against Anti-Corruption Commission, actually, to us, it was a learning curve for us to do more and more and more. And it was also an opportunity for us to give feedback to you on what we have done, because it's about education.
Absolutely.
Namibia today is where it is because of this freedom of the media. Like the late President Hage, you remember what he said about freedom of the media, that as long as he is president,
it was granted.
It was granted.
Absolutely.
And it's still granted until today.
Oh, absolutely.
And this is what makes Namibia actually to progress.
Absolutely.
There's no country that can progress when some sectors of society are silenced.
Absolutely.
There's no way. I must thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I want you please to continue with my successor.
Yes.
Give him every necessary support.
Absolutely.
So that he will be able to lead this noble institution.
Absolutely.
Remember, it's not about one person. Corruption has never been successfully fought by one person. It is always a collective efforts that makes a difference.
Absolutely.
And we all have to make our due contribution to the fight against corruption in the country. Because at the end of the day, corruption can destroy all of us.
Absolutely.
Whether you are in the Anti-Corruption Commission or outside, whether you are part of government or outside government.
Yes.
Once it starts hitting, it destroys the economy and we all become the victims.
Totally.
And we must all avoid that.
Absolutely.
We all have a responsibility to fight it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That is Paulus Noa. He is the outgoing Director General of the Anti-Corruption Commission, gracing perhaps for the last time this platform in that capacity. And he was just walking us through that very long, but also very successful in many ways, journey. Thank you for watching.